Hey everybody, welcome to Assemble. I'm Matt. Great to have you here. So, great news. I got tickets for Money in the Bank this July. I live out here in Canada. We don't get the PLEs all the time. We get them maybe once a year. SummerSlam has been here. We get Raw and SmackDown, maple syrup, and lots of good stuff out here in the Great White North. But it's very exciting for me. I've never been to a PLE or to a pay-per-view for WWE. So I got super excited to be able to go online and be able to get myself tickets. I got Mrs. Assemble. She's gonna come with me, whether she likes it or not. She's gonna have to sit there and just let it happen to her. That's what she said. One thing to note about these tickets, I tell you what, they're doing the show in Toronto. It's not like it's our big arena, but it's not like it's like a 20,000 seat arena. It's very expensive, and like the seats, like you can see everything. It's kind of good, like it's full bowl, and you can see from kind of every angle you want to. But man, tickets are expensive for WWE shows. Like going to Raw and SmackDown is one thing, but I'm dropping nearly $1,000 just to be able to go to Money in the Bank, and they're not even great seats either. But I'm excited nonetheless. Maybe I'll get a title belt or some other fun stuff. But I got to thinking, what about Money in the Bank? What matches could we see? Today, we're doing very, very stupid early predictions for Money in the Bank 2024. Because I got some thoughts on who could win this thing, who could we see in some of the matches. And no, I don't expect all of these matches to happen. But you know what? Pleasantly surprised if we kind of nail it on the head a little bit. For the women's Money in the Bank, I kind of have two picks, but I am leaning towards one of them a little bit more. I think that for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, we are going to see, I don't know who the participants are going to be, number one, but I can kind of cherry pick some winners here. I think the winners could either be Chelsea Green, who's Canadian, so shout out to Chelsea. And I really want to see Chelsea do it because I think Chelsea with the Money in the Bank briefcase could just be a lot of fun. It would just be fun to see her running around dealing with Nick Aldis, pretending to cash in, maybe messing it up here and there and just teasing it, like having a lot of fun with the briefcase with Chelsea. It's an added gimmick to her. I think it would be a ton of fun to see her with it. But the superstar that I think has a better shot, kind of a long-term play that they could really play with for this whole thing, and I could see her doing a successful cash-in, Tiffany Stratton. It seems to be Tiffy time everywhere I look. And I like Tiffany Stratton. I've seen her live. She gets great crowd receptions every single week. You can hear the crowd during the shows for SmackDown, and she's getting over very, very fast to the point where I think in a couple of months, if WWE's not careful, they're not going to have her as a heel and they're going to have to switch her over to a babyface because she's just going to get over with the crowd. This is where I can see them going with Tiffany Stratton, holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. She can dazzle it all up, make it white and pink and have some fun with it. She can tease the cash-ins. And remember, they can cash in on both Raw and SmackDown. So Bayley, I think, will hold the women's WWE championship for probably a few months at the very least and have a good strong reign with it. But I can see someone like Tiffany getting the belt off of her very easily. But if they don't do Bayley versus Tiffany or in a cash in, if they build Tiffany up a lot, they have her win Money in the Bank. Tiffany Stratton is somebody that they could just switch over to Monday Night Raw if they feel like it. If they feel like they're gonna strap a rocket to her and really elevate her, they could move her over to Raw and get her to cash in on future champion Rhea Ripley. Because I think that while we have Becky right now, I could see Becky and Liv and a few other people going at it until Rhea comes back. Rhea reclaims her belt. I can see Tiffany Stratton coming in, sliding in on Rhea after she goes through a grueling match or something and cashing in at Survivor Series, at the Royal Rumble. Even you want to do it at WrestleMania and do something really, really cool. But Tiffany Stratton can tease with that briefcase for a long time. So she's kind of my main pick. I personally like to see Chelsea also get it. Okay, for the men's Money in the Bank, this one's a little bit trickier because I don't know really what they would do. On one hand, my gut tells me Gunther. Just give the Money in the Bank, give everything to Gunther. Part of me feels like he's going to win King of the Ring. Part of me feels like he could also just win Money in the Bank. Gunther with Money in the Bank could be good. Kaiser can hold it on for him, like walk around with it. But I do think that Gunther's probably one of your strongest candidates to get that briefcase. Also because it allows Gunther to play with both belts. It can give fans the idea of, well, he could go over and cash in on Cody or challenge Cody to a match and do it that way because the mat is sacred to Gunther. He might actually just do like an honorable cash in and say, I'm going to have a title match against Cody at, say, SummerSlam and do it that way. Or he could do the full cash in and do it on the world title and he could win it over there. And the world champion, it might be Damian Priest, it might be Drew McIntyre. You can get Gunther this way up to the world title scene kind of by default. One of the challenges I think right now for Gunther, it's not so much a challenge necessarily, but like he lost the IC title. You'd think that he would go back and want to get the IC title. He's teased that he might want to go back for his title belt when he wants it, but you definitely see that he needs to move on to the world title scene. And frankly, I think they need the heels and they need to beef up both divisions, both against Cody and against, say, the world champion right now, being Damian Priest. And I know that Gunther is drafted over to Monday Night Raw, but it is the possibility of switching him with Money in the Bank over to SmackDown, and WWE doesn't follow their own rules most of the time anyway. So Gunther is kind of my block in for Money in the Bank as the forerunner for it. I would say also Drew, but I actually think Drew McIntyre will win the world title at Clash of the Castle. And I think that's what they'll do with Drew. And then him and Punk can go at it at SummerSlam. So the other candidates, Carmelo Hayes, I actually think has a chance to get that title, to get that Money in the Bank briefcase. And again, I don't think, I mean, they're going to keep Carmelo on SmackDown, but Carmelo can hold that briefcase for many months. And you can build him up with the briefcase and give it to him then. I just find Money in the Bank typically does work better when you have it with the heel. Would I love to see LA Knight get it? Yeah, but he's over on SmackDown and it's Cody. I think whoever wins Money in the Bank is going to once again kind of go after the world title, and it'll be on that side. But let me know what you guys think. Now, for a title match at Money in the Bank, I think we're going to get a couple of different ones. We're at Backlash right now, and based on the results of that, it's going to be pretty straightforward. And I don't think Cody's losing this belt until he starts dealing with the Bloodline and starts dealing with Roman Reigns, The Rock, all of that. But I do think that we will get a Cody title match at Money in the Bank. We need him there in Canada and in Toronto. So Cody's going to go through a lot of different kind of opponents, kind of a similar path where he's had AJ probably for a few months. I can see them doing Cody versus Kevin Owens, or doing Cody, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, maybe add in Randy Orton and do a fatal 4-way, but Cody is going to be leaving with that belt. I hope they do whatever his next feud is after AJ, that they do give him a good challenge, but I don't see Cody going into this deep program by Money in the Bank. I think once they get past Money in the Bank and they move to SummerSlam, that's when we see the big stories for Cody start to kick in. Right now, I think they're going to be doing small ones. So maybe a match against Kevin Owens. Love to see Randy Orton, but I think they need to save that story if they really want to tell it properly. When it comes to the world title, right now, Damian Priest is World Heavyweight Champion. Coming out of Backlash, I don't suspect, at the time of this recording, he's probably retained it. But I don't think Damian Priest is actually going to be World Champion at Money in the Bank. I think Drew, like I said, is going to take that title off him at Clash at the Castle, and then they will move on Drew to CM Punk for like SummerSlam. But at Money in the Bank, they could do Drew in a title defense against maybe doing the rematch with Damian Priest, and they could just have the one-on-one there, and Drew retains, maybe with shenanigans involving CM Punk, who might, hopefully, makes an appearance at Money in the Bank. The US title and the Intercontinental title at Money in the Bank, don't see both of them being on the show. Triple H in the Triple H Paul Levesque era, he likes doing smaller cards. He likes, and Money in the Bank, that's two giant matches that are usually like 40 minutes a piece. That's the bulk of your show. So I don't think we're gonna get all these matches. Like, we may not even get a Cody match on the card. They may just scrap that and go for the mid-card stuff, and Money in the Bank matches are the headliners. So I don't think we're gonna get all these. That's why I don't think that we would get a US title match. I think they push that off to the side. I don't think Logan Paul makes an appearance in Canada. I don't think they do the US title at Money in the Bank. The IC title, yes, I do think they will have an IC title match, assuming Sami Zayn is still Intercontinental Champion. He's Canadian, he's gonna get a big pop. They're gonna have Sami Zayn there. Question will be, who's he facing? I think they will be rolling still with this Chad Gable, Sami Zayn storyline that they have for the last couple of months coming out of WrestleMania. They might want to sprinkle in another opponent or two. I kind of like multi-man matches like fatal 4-ways and maybe even a triple threat. I just don't know who else they're going to beef up. We're post-draft, so they can shake things up in these divisions, but I do think the forerunner right now is you're going to have either a rematch or it's just going to be the one-on-one match of Chad versus Sami Zayn. On the tag team title side, they might do one of the tag team title matches, like A-Town Down Under on the SmackDown side, doing that on the SmackDown of Money in the Bank weekend. I can totally see them doing that. Put one of the matches there so they can beef up that show and make it a big event. So I'm gonna say that A-Town Down Under defend their tag titles against DIY, but I think they're gonna do that on SmackDown before Money in the Bank. R-Truth and The Miz, I think, will still be tag team champions, world tag team champions, and I think they will defend those on the card at Money in the Bank. I think that Miz and R-Truth probably retain. And if they wanted to do title matches for the women, Becky, I still see being women's world champion. I think that she will probably have a title match if she does go to Money in the Bank. Do the title match against Liv. That could either be like their rematch or best of 3 series if they're going to do that, or maybe it's the first one they'll end up having. Becky versus Liv, I could see them doing that at Money in the Bank if they want to get Becky on the show. If they don't and they want to hold that off because Money in the Bank is going to be very crowded, you could have Bayley on the show, and I would see them doing Bayley versus Nia Jax for the women's championship over on SmackDown. They could do that match for sure at Money in the Bank. And then I'd say Bayley retains in there too, gives the Canadian crowd a big pop and go home feeling good. But the Money in the Bank ladder matches, as I circle back to this, they are very intriguing this year because I don't know which direction they're going to go. And I feel like ultimately on the men's side, it's coming down a lot to do with Cody's story. I got one bonus idea though for you when it comes to Money in the Bank and on the men's side. My one theory, my shot in the dark here with all of this, is one thing they could do with Money in the Bank. They could have the Bloodline win the men's Money in the Bank. I may have said this in a previous video, but one theory I have of what they could do to really kickstart this new Bloodline story, The Rock, maybe a match at SummerSlam. Maybe it's the Mania 41 match of Rock versus Cody. Now, the one thing I could see them doing, I think you could have any member of the Bloodline win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Let's say it's Solo, and one of two things I could see them doing with that. One, and it'd just be selfishly be awesome to be there live and see it, I could see Solo winning the briefcase, winning the match, walking up to the ramp, final boss's music hits, The Rock comes out, and Solo hands the briefcase to The Rock. Or if they do something like that, and let's say Cody does have a match at Money in the Bank, let's say they put it in the main event. Have Solo come out at the end, looks at Cody Rhodes on the ramp, and then Cody is preparing for the cash in, and then The Rock's music hits, final boss comes out, and then Solo just hands it over to The Rock, and The Rock just holds it up. So he doesn't cash in. You get the huge moment and the huge clash and knowing what this is going to be, because WWE wants to do long-term storytelling with all of this. So I could totally see them doing it where The Rock is going to get his hands on the briefcase, and then he will become the champion, or at least attempt to, against Cody. And now you have set up this really cool, fun arc of the Bloodline, knowing that they're aligned officially with The Rock, and then you could tease that cash in. If they don't do it all at Money in the Bank, because that's a lot to do, if you did do Matt's theory of Solo winning Money in the Bank on behalf of The Rock, they could just do that and understand that, like, oh my gosh, Solo could cash in on Cody to win the title, and now he's got all the help of the Bloodline, but then pivot and swerve the audience that at SummerSlam and leading up to, say, SummerSlam, you do have the moment where The Rock comes out and Solo gives the briefcase over to The Rock, and then that sets up the match itself, and Solo's doing what he's told by the final boss. But what are your crazy early predictions for Money in the Bank 2024? I'm super excited. If you guys, hey, if you're in the Toronto area and you're going to be there, come say hi if you do see me wandering the halls or something. Have a great day, guys, and if you enjoy videos like this, hit subscribe, hit the like button. We got more WWE content right here. Have a great day. See ya.